What's up guys, Nadem here with another tutorial, and today I want to talk to you guys about sidechain compression. However, I want to mix it up. I want to talk about how to do a trigger sidechain. So how you can get your sidechain to always activate whenever the kick happens, such that you can explore outside of the 4x4. So instead of having the kick on every 4, you can try different kick patterns, breakbeat patterns, and have the sidechain just trigger to the kick. So there's a really simple method and a favorite tool that I like to use. So let's jump right in. So here we have just a basic project I started working on just for this tutorial. We have a kick drum, and the kick drum is playing on every 4. Here is the kick drum. Just a simple kick drum. Haven't made any changes to it. And I have just a simple lead chord playing back. So I'm going to mute the chords so you can hear the chords. So typically in EDM we have it on every 4, which is this beat structure right here. There are tools you can use inside FL like the Fruity Peak controller, but I personally really like Fabfilter Pro-C or Pro-C 2. They can both do external sidechain. So Pro-C 2 is a compressor plugin, but it can also compress the signal or just compress certain frequencies. So let's first start with what we have with the kick. Let's get this organized. So we have the kick routed to track 1. Let's go ahead and rename that to kick. We have our synth, so let's put synth here. The easy method, because if you have this entire kick triggering the sidechain, it's really big and you're gonna get a really wavy sidechain. It's not gonna be quick and sharp and spiky. So for sidechain, you're gonna want to usually clone the kick and make it very short, or even use something like a small click, a small bit of like noise or something, a short transient to activate the sidechain. So to demonstrate, let's go ahead, we'll just call this kick. And let's clone this. So we have a clone. We'll just call this sidechain kick, SC kick. We're going to route it to track number 3. And with that done, what we want to do is we don't want this sidechain kick playing on the master. We don't want it being sent to the master. We don't want to hear it. Instead, we want it to activate the sidechain. So whenever this is playing, you're not going to actually hear anything. So it's going to be used as a utility. So here we can get creative. And what I would suggest is probably adding like a layer. If you add a layer, you'll be able to open up the layer and set these 2 channels, right click them and click set children. And we'll take the drum pattern. So whatever we want, we can hit 4 and you can see, let's just mute that so you can see it here. It's going to play back on both of them. So you can get creative. You can try like a different structure. We can try something like this. Ooh, that doesn't sound right. What's going on there? You can also use this. This is a side note. I've made a tutorial on it. But if you hit this cut self, it makes sure that the kick always gets interrupted again. It will not overlap in case the kick is long. Particularly useful with 808s. I learned that from Metro Boomin in one of his tutorials. So that's a really good thing if you want to make sure rides or stuff, long samples don't interrupt each other. As soon as the kick plays back again, it plays a new kick, which is really good for this tutorial because we have the kicks very close to one another. So let's just play this back again. What is going on here? Does it have, oh, okay. It still had stuff in the piano roll. So in case that happens to you, just check the piano roll, delete anything in the piano roll. Now it should be okay. Okay, so let's just go ahead. We'll copy and paste this pattern. All right. Okay, so we'll just leave it simple. And again, like I said, that cut group is great because if you have those short kicks, definitely, or sorry, long kicks, you definitely want them to not stack. The worst thing is for kicks to stack on top of each other. So we have a basic drum pattern here. The SC kick that we have, the reason why it's good to make the SC kick, the sidechain kick, is because you can trim the length of it. You can make it shorter. And now with FL Studio 20, you can go really short. You can go something like this and kind of tweak it and make it like that. So you might not even need to use a different sample. I recommend stick with your own sample, shorten it. Worst comes to worst, try other kicks, small transients, small clicks. So with that being said, we've set up the percussion. Let's just go ahead and make things a bit more pleasing to the eyes. It's always good to organize your stuff. F2, you can change the colors. And if you ever want to rearrange things, hold Alt, left, right, you can move them around. So the synth, we need to load up Fabfilter Pro-C 2. So Fabfilter we have here. And there's a couple things we need to do first. First, we need to route it. So sidechain kick isn't being routed to the master. So right click on synth, click sidechain to this track. So it's going to send the audio data to synth track. Next, in Fabfilter, go ahead in this gear icon in the VST wrapper settings and go to processing and go to stereo sidechain. Right click and click sidechain kick. So now it's receiving externally the information from the sidechain kick. Now we can go back to the plugin. Go ahead and turn off auto gain. Go ahead and bring down the release. We will turn up the threshold for now because we want to see it kick in. And you can bring the decay maybe to like 60 ms, or sorry, the release. You can of course tweak these settings. Now the important information is all in the sidechain section. Go ahead and open up the sidechain section. We won't bother in this tutorial with frequency because that's more complex. We're just going with a classic sidechain. And go ahead and press external. And at this point, we have nothing going on yet because the threshold is what dictates at what level it's being sidechained. Let's turn on the synth and listen. So of course, you're always going to want to tweak it how you like. With sidechain, it's generally that. Very fast attack, almost no attack. A short release, we're talking like 50 ms, 60 ms. Tweak it to your liking. With Fabfilter, you can also get a more spikier sidechain if you switch to Opto. So we'll leave it on clean. Now, if we tweak this kick, we're going to get a different type of sounding sidechain. So you're going to want to tweak the sidechain kick and then also go in and tweak these settings side by side. There is also a sidechain level, which can pump it even more. As you crank it up, it's going to pump it more. So let's go ahead and tweak the length of this sample and see how it affects the sidechain sound. So you can play around with that. I would probably recommend also adding a little tail. And you can do this in so many ways, guys. You can use Fruity Balance. You can use volume, automation. You can draw it. You can sample something yourself. You can do it in Edison. So really, there's no right or wrong way in terms of getting it how you want it to sound. Like, It's ultimately how you want the sidechain to sound. Do you want it to pump more, or do you want it to be lighter? And the nice thing about Fabfilter is that you can get so much control. Let's play this back again. So that's dope, because now at this point, whatever you do to the layer, it's going to correspond back to it. You don't have to be worried about what do you do, you know, is it going to work, is it not going to work? If you want to switch back to 4x4, you're fine, just switch it up in the note. The beauty in getting it sounding good, because this is really rough, is get the sidechain kick short, get it nice, like, and get it to fade out properly, and then just go back in the settings and go ahead and tweak it to your liking. Get it a short release, a very fast, immediate attack, and then the 2 extra bonus tips are, if you want to get this to pump super fast, sometimes it's not as natural and sometimes it can sound worse, is switch the style to opto. And sometimes that can get you to trigger super fast. I've done that in my tutorial where I talk about how to make a reverb pumping breathing effect. Switching to opto can sometimes really get you an immediate, even faster, basically. The compressor reacts faster. So play around with them, try the different characters, play around with the release, play around with the threshold. And also the sidechain level can help also to tweak the characteristics of your sound. So it's a very simple method, and something I've used in the past as well. Anytime I was looking to compress without doing 4x4. And also, it's just a good, refreshing way to compress if you're really tired of using plugins like Kickstart by Nicky Romero, and you want to kind of mold your own type of sidechain. And ultimately, you can always save those presets and just keep going back to them. That's what I've done. You know, I have some there, say here, sidechain bass, and it looks similar here. 40 ms release, clean, minus 27 threshold. What does it sound like? Let's see. Make sure, guys, that it's on external. So if you're wondering why it's not working, make sure it is on external, because you're externally routing this into the plugin. And that's pretty much it. I do recommend not leaving these on anything else, because if you switch these, it is going to add a plugin delay. And if you're okay with that, go ahead and do it. But otherwise, leave these off such that you don't introduce any delay or any issues. I would just leave them at 0 latency. So if you guys have any questions about this, go ahead and post a comment below. Let me know. And I hope you guys really like this tutorial. I saw a comment regarding that, so I said, you know what, I want to go ahead and make a tutorial regarding this. So that wraps it up for this tutorial, guys. If you guys like this tutorial, be sure to drop a like. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys thought about this, or what kind of sound design tutorials you guys want to see. I know one of you guys commented that you wanted to see something like Don Diablo style, which is really cool. I want to try and challenge myself to make some of those like chordy, LFO, really super dope sounds that he makes. You know, a lot of producers make amazing sounds, so it's very inspirational and very learning and like a teaching way of like trying to get those sounds. There's a lot that we can learn. So stay subscribed, guys. I got more tutorials on the way, and I'll see you guys in the next tutorial, next vlog, next